Today's top stories. U.S. Vice President Dick Cheney said today that Ukraine should not live in fear of invasion, and that the U.S., quote, fully supports that country's bid for NATO membership. He said, quote, "We believe in the right of men and women to live without the threat of tyranny, economic blackmail, or military invasion or intimidation," adding, quote, "The United States fully supports the right of Ukraine to build ever stronger ties of cooperation and security throughout Europe and across the Atlantic." But Russia today criticized Cheney's travels in the former Soviet states, especially his remarks yesterday in Tbilisi, where he voiced support for Georgia's entry into NATO. Russia's foreign ministry spokesman Andrei Nesterenko told reporters that Cheney's statements promising NATO membership, quote, "only bolster such a dangerous sense of impunity within Saakashvili's regime and encourage its aggressive ambitions." Republican Senator John McCain accepted his party's nomination before supporters in Minneapolis, Minnesota last night. McCain acknowledged the effect of tough economic conditions on Americans and vowed to, quote, "shake up Washington," with the help of his vice presidential running mate, Sarah Palin, if he wins the presidential elections in November. McCain, who praised U.S. troops for their efforts to reduce violence in Iraq, said neighboring Iran was, quote, "the chief state sponsor of terrorism and on the path to acquiring nuclear weapons." But he assured his audience, quote, "I know how to work with the leaders who share our dreams of freer, safer, and more prosperous world, and how to stand up to those who don't. I know how to secure the peace." Iran today dismissed as baseless allegations by France's President Nicolas Sarkozy that Tehran's controversial nuclear program had a military aim. Iran's foreign ministry spokesman Hassan Ghashqavi said, quote, "nuclear weapons have no part in Iran's defense doctrine." Speaking in Syria yesterday, Sarkozy warned Iran that it is at risk of an Israeli airstrike if it continues with its nuclear program. Iran insists that its program is purely peaceful and legal under the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, rejecting accusations by Western powers that the country is seeking to acquire nuclear arms. Ghashqavi said, quote, "the Islamic Republic of Iran, along with many other nations, has wanted nuclear disarmament of all nuclear-possessing countries and the destruction of their arsenals." U.S. Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice arrived in Libya's capital, Tripoli, today. The first visit by U.S. Secretary of State to the North African country in 55 years. The White House today said that Rice's trip signifies a, quote, "new chapter in U.S.-Libyan relations, which were suspended in 1981. Rice, who will meet with Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi, said that her visit proves that the U.S. has no, quote, permanent enemies. These stories and more at IranVNC.com.